Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. Fear, anxiety, stress, depression. It seems as we go along in our life, those things have a stronger pull on us, and they're pulling us into a fire that will consume us. But here's the takeaway I want you to have today, that fire can also be used as a passion, fuel for your passion to help you reach greater heights of success with less effort. Angie, what's the takeaway you want them to have?
I would like them to have the takeaway that there's really nothing wrong with them, and that the anxiety, the emotion is sending them some sort of signal, and that they should have hope that they can overcome this. That's very overcomable, if that's a word.
Al, what's the takeaway you want them to have?
Yeah, I think the issue is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I think the objective is, and what I attempt to do is to provide them. I explain to them that they have so many quivers or so many arrows in their quiver, and that the more tools that you have to attack a problem or deal with it, the greater success and the more control you'll have.
So thank you for tuning in today. Insider Secrets to Success, where we have a group of hypnotists as well as a therapist that are here to give you a tip, tool, or technique around fear, anxiety, stress, and or depression. Okay, so let's open it up. What's one of the techniques that you use utilizing hypnosis, both Angie and Al, utilizing hypnosis, that you feel like get your clients out of that state of overwhelm and into, as Angie was saying, hope? And Al, I know you've got a lot of techniques that you use with them. But between the two of you, what's one of your favorites? Whoever wants to jump in.
Go ahead, Angie. I'll follow up.
I know there's a script about overcoming anxiety, stress, and overwhelm. And so I really enjoy that script. On top of that, like, for creating a script for this, it's so important to be able to meet them where they're at as far as the anxiety. Like, just for example, if someone's trying to stop smoking, and if we were to say, I no longer smoke, that could actually create more anxiety for them, because they're feeling like, well, if I don't have my coping mechanism, and that may make them want to smoke even more. So if we change the wording to something like, anxiety no longer causes me to smoke. I only smoke now for my highest health and pleasure. It gives them an out. I mean, I'm just giving this example, gives them an out that they're going to do it for their highest health and pleasure only when they're really enjoying it, when they're really in the present moment with it. And, but they're not being forced. It's not a deprivation thing, does that make sense?
It does, because how many clients have we had tell us that the cigarette or the food or the alcohol is their friend?
Right.
It's gotten them through the tough times. It's had their back when no one else has been there. And now all of a sudden we're taking their best friend away.
Mm-hmm.
But when you, Angie, it's so important what you said, when the anxiety will not cause you to smoke. So it's the emotions that's causing the friend to show up in a dysfunctional way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we can reframe it to where you can have friends. You just don't want to use those friends in a way that's unhealthy.
Right. Right.
Oh, I really like that.
Mhm.
Al, what do you want to add on?
Well, what it seems to me is I'll often ask them, okay, every action we have serves a purpose, and the anxiety and the stress that you have, there has to be something you're getting out of this, otherwise you wouldn't keep going back to it. So we address those issues, and I found myself using a lot of the PTSD scripts and modifying it to address things, because often when clients come in, they may initially be talking about a issue on the surface that they're wanting to, that they think is the problem. But more often than not, after frequent sessions, we start opening up other layers of the onion, and it starts getting and you can spend a ton of time addressing that. Whereas the advantage of using hypnosis is that I don't have to solve the problem for them. What I do is basically I'm building a it's like framing out a house. I'll help them with the framing of the house, but they do all the interior design. They do everything else beyond that. So they own it, and that gives them the chance to often go back to things that they don't remember, that are there, that are like these billboards along your life that are on fire. It gives you a chance to put stuff out, and I don't need to know about it. All I need to do is kind of lead you to the door, give you the tools, and you do all the work.
So we've got Angie, who is helping them become aware that acting out dysfunctionally has been caused by being overwhelmed by these emotions. And then Al, you're saying that there's going to be triggering events that cause them to almost decorate their house through this perception of this emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I always like to say, would you want to hang trash on your walls? Because that's what you're doing with these memories that continue to cause pain, but you've become so accustomed to it, you don't even know that the trash is there.
Mm-hmm. And the script of taking out the trash or the library script are things that I use them with almost with every client, one or the other. And it's that it's a good place to start, because it allows them to at least start to get a hold of cleaning things out, and then we start moving on the positive things afterwards.
And so, Drew, we're talking about right now the fear, anxiety, stress, and depression. And just if you have any tips, tool, or techniques that you find is one of your favorite whenever you're working with those, I'll let you think about that for a moment while I jump in. I find that it is the fear, anxiety, and stress that will lead to the depression, because it's these overwhelming emotions that just wear them out. They can no longer cope. And so the mind, I'm not talking about clinical depression where we need some sort of medication to harmonize ourselves out. I'm talking about situational depression. We just get so worn out from trying to cope that the body is actually using the depression as a way to conserve energy, because we've gone from thrive to just survive.
Yeah,
And
and with the media, the phrase was sex sells. Okay, so you can use sex to sell anything. Well, I think now they've kind of adapted that to where fear sells, and
thank you.
everything that we face, I mean, I have people coming in being anxious about stuff that seems pretty obscure. And it's that sense of, okay, well, I heard this on the news. This is what, it gets to the point where you have to focus on that locus of control. There are things that you can do for yourself that you can control, but the other stuff, you've got to be able to just kind of either ignore it, turn it over to your higher being, or just make basic plans for how to prepare. I mean, I have several clients that are caught in remuneration where they just keep cycling a thought, and they keep and it's a automatic thought loop that's really destructive. And we address that, and what I've tried to do with them is to say, okay, here's the problem. Come up with 3 possible solutions that you want to use, or 3 possible outcomes of that problem. Then come up with solutions for that. And then the next time those thoughts pop up, tell yourself, I've already dealt with it and I'm moving on.
Yes. And I will tell you that when a coach did the very same thing with me, here's where I had the challenge. My mind just didn't want to shut it off. Mm-hmm. It needed to go back to something. So I'm going to give a tool I like to use in just a moment. But what about you, Drew? What's a tip, tool, or technique that you like to use with stress and fear and anxiety and depression when you're working with your clients?
I kind of like the idea of being able to release it, and I've used the example of, just letting it flow out of your fingers, let it flow out of your toes, let it flow out of your whole being, as just slipping out of you, like when you're taking a shower and the water runs from head to foot. It just, everything flows out and goes down the drain. I've used that before. Works well.
Yeah, because these are emotions, and emotions are very fluid. They're like yes. waves that come up on the beach. So yeah, just allowing that wave to wash out of you. I also like using the analogy that electricity is electricity. It doesn't care how you use it. So you can use it to light your room, or you can do what my son did when he was 4 one time. He stuck a screwdriver in the electric socket to see what would happen.
Oh, cool.
He lit up too.
Yeah.
The lights flash, and I go into his bedroom to see what he's doing, and he's standing there, his hair is on end. The wall above the socket is absolutely black, and he's standing there holding a screwdriver, and very dazed and confused. So electricity doesn't care how you use it. You can either plug in the lamp and you can light up the room, or you can lick your finger and stick it into the lamp socket and fry yourself. Our emotional states are the same way. Yeah, exactly. So our emotional states are the same way. We can either turn them on and use them for our brightest, or we can turn the switch off. The electricity is still there. It is waiting to be used, but we decide. Up to this point, our clients have had triggers that have told them, flip on the switch, but fry yourself with it. So utilizing... Go ahead, babe.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it's energy. Energy is energy. You can use it for positive. You can use it for negative. It's your choice. It's your energy. Okay. You're responsible for it, and you're responsible for the results of it. So use the energy.
Utilizing hypnosis and making sure that the wires are plugged into something. We don't have these downed electrical wires flopping all over the place, frying them out. plug them into something. But then here's the next step on follow-up sessions. What determines how bright that light is? Is it the electricity flowing? No, it is the wattage of the light bulb. If they want to be more brilliant, we got to put in a light bulb that can handle more power. And so having their very powerful mind make sure that what's in there is going to be the brightest wattage that they can handle, so that when they flip on the switch, it's not like we've got mood lighting and it's 25 watts because we want to be able to soothe ourselves. No, 100, 150. Maybe we're wiring in its stadium lighting. So utilizing the energy for that is one of the things that I like to do. So Angie, what is one of the things that you think your clients, it can be a pitfall for them as far as whenever they first start trying to work on their fear, anxiety, stress, and depression? What's one of the pitfalls? Because I know you mentioned hope in the beginning. What's one of the things that you want them to know while they're on this journey?
I think one of the pitfalls would be the comfort zone of the familiar negative emotion, and just wanting to stay there and not even realizing they want to stay there. It's what they're used to. They're not used to feeling joy or peace or, anything like that. And so that could be like a wake-up call. It could be very unnerving,
Yeah, because
other emotions. And so to give them a heads up, like, as you're moving into this, you might have some culture shock within your system.
Yeah, because, oh my gosh, if we're feeling better, people might actually have expectations that they're going to put on us.
Yeah. Yeah. So then self-sabotage would come in.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Al, what's one of the pitfalls you want them to know about?
I think it's a matter of having to learn new behaviors. And we all, I think none of us are real eager to try something new if it has the potential of causing us to tolerate or absorb or deal with things that are sometimes, in the short term at least, unpleasant. And if you look at the duration or time that it takes to learn a new behavior, you're talking 21, 30, 60, 90 days. So that requires a real sense of commitment and patience. And most people have kind of grown accustomed to the attitude that you had with Willy Wonka and Faruka on there. I want it now. So there's that lack of willingness to run the course, be patient to understand that it's going to take a while for things to change. And that's why I think hypnosis is such a benefit, is it allows the clients to make changes in a much more rapid time on a much more permanent basis. And you can alter, like Angie was talking about cigarette cessation. You can alter a behavior that's gone on for years, decades, and you can turn it around much faster when you encourage the subconscious to take the lead versus the conscious mind to try to rationalize it.
Excellent. Drew, what do you want them to know about any pitfalls that they can experience moving forward?
Give me the context again. I was fighting with my computer.
Yeah. So being able to move forward, and now they're getting a handle on the anxiety and the fear and the stress and the depression. But it's not always going to be everything's coming up roses. What do they need to know? What do they need to be aware of that could potentially happen that they should expect? Do
Well,
you have any
and
suggestions?
you kind of touched on it. Life is not a bed of roses. Okay. I mean, life happens. Okay. And how we respond to it is what's the real important part of our participation in life. We can choose to, or we can choose not to. We have the choice. We have that control. We have that much power. But when you look at the general scheme of things, that's not a whole lot of power. Okay. And I think from my viewpoint, okay, and my life experiences, that we don't have any power. Okay. We kind of, the only power we have is a power to respond. Okay. We can't control what life has coming at us. We can only control how we respond to it. And,
Yeah.
that's, I'll be honest with you, that's something in my life I had a lot of struggle with. Okay. And
Mhm.
And that's what that's what the hypnosis does, is it takes the control out of the outside triggers and it gives it back to the client.
Right.
And now instead of someone or something causing them to have a reaction based on past pain, they can now choose a response based on future impact.
Right. Right. And I think there's a lot of people out there who don't understand that concept. They think, because, maybe it had to do with upbringing or their life experiences or whatever, but they think they have to fix everything. There are times in our life when you just have to go, okay, see ya, and check out. All right.
Mhm.
Just go somewhere else. You know what I mean? It's, life is participation. You choose to participate or you choose not to participate in
And-
whatever comes at you. Okay. Whatever happens to you.
And that brings up an important point, which is if you can walk away from something that you no longer need in your life, hypnosis is going to give you the results in one session. So Angie talked about cigarettes. Somebody really does not have to have cigarettes in their life. So you can utilize hypnosis and walk away from that. Food, on the other hand, you cannot do that with. Relationships, you cannot do that with. So this is where hypnosis teaches you how to reestablish a connection in a way that is healthy based on progress instead of avoidance, trying to get away from pain. So you can use it and say, I'm done with that. I no longer need that substance in my life. And you can move on. Or you can use the hypnosis and go, you know what? I am going to have to have that person in my life, at least for a while, so I can utilize hypnosis to be able to be in that relationship in a way that's the healthiest for me. I can't control them, but I can control my experience in it because I'm giving my pain a purpose for progress. Okay, so as we begin to conclude, Angie, if you could give your contact information, how someone can reach out to you and utilize what you've got going on, as well as maybe a parting thought that you have for everybody.
So my contact information is 1-314-422-6520. And my email is Angie, ANGIE, at harmonyharbor.com. And harbor is HARBOR, harmonyharbor.com. Website's the same, harmonyharbor.com. I think my parting thought is that, again, we don't have to be a victim to our emotions and feelings. Like, it's all part of life, and life is hard at times, right? And there's so much hope, when we can utilize hypnosis, yes, we want things quickly, and that it does offer that up. I mean, it really does satisfy that part of our ego that wants it to happen fast. And it's also highly effective. So it's just it's a great tool to use if you're wanting to make change. Just know that change isn't easy, but it's very possible, very doable.
And I know from personal experience, Angie has helped so many women in situations that they thought they weren't going to be able to get through, not only to survive it, but actually find the thriving on the other side. The world is a better place because of you.
Thank you.
Al, contact information and a parting thought.
Sure. It's My Family Counseling. It's myfcinc.com. I think what never ceases to, I've been doing this for like 12 years now, and it never ceases to amaze me the strength of the human character, that we're able to get through pretty much everything that comes our way. And I think with hypnosis, you're incorporating the ability to let your conscious mind, which is 80% of your brain function, to kind of do some problem solving. So I think it offers hope. I think it offers the opportunity to create a new pathway and live your life to its fullest.
And I know that I have referred clients on to you where I felt like coaching was not a fit and they actually needed more of the therapy pathway. And you've combined both of those, the therapy and the hypnosis, very effectively. So again,
it's great joy.
That the world is a better place because of you.
Thanks.
Drew, contact information and parting thought.
Drew at drewdawnferguson.com. My parting thought is a Latin phrase that I learned as a young man: illegitimi non tatum carborundum. Don't let the bastards run you down.
And yeah, there we go. I know my world is a better place because you're in it, because you're my partner, not just in business, but in life.
Yes.
Okay.
That is God's gift to me. Is that partnership with you, baby.
So, yes, a very good answer, right? 1-636-699-7791. Reach out, voicemail or text for a rapid results I'll get it out, consult. Or you can go to canhypnosishelpyou.com and set your appointment that way. And here's my parting thought, that we've all had pain in our life. But when that pain is plugged into a purpose for your progress, you can reach greater heights of success with less effort. And all the brilliant people on this call today want to light up your life. So utilize someone here, because if you could have done it on your own, you'd already have the results. It's time for you not to just get results, but resolution. So thank you so much for joining us on this podcast today.